Dr. Stephen Strange stood in the swirling golden circle of a mystic portal, his cloak of levitation fluttering behind him as the sounds of a bustling city spilled through. Beside him, America Chavez looked on with curiosity and apprehension. "Where are we now?" America asked, stepping closer to the edge of the portal. Strange adjusted his footing, studying the horizon. A sprawling city stretched endlessly before them, its skyline pierced by soaring towers and glowing speeders zipping through the air. The planet was unlike anything Strange had ever seen. "This," he said slowly, "is not a part of our universe." America smirked. "Well, duh. So, where exactly are we?" Strange's gaze settled on a massive, ornate structure in the distance, a towering temple that seemed to hum with an energy both ancient and powerful. "There," he said, pointing. "That temple is radiating something. It might be our best chance to figure out what Wanda has done to the multiverse." The duo stepped through the portal, arriving in the heart of Coruscant, the Galactic Republic's capital. The bustling metropolis teemed with life. Species from across the galaxy moved in unison, their lives intertwined in the chaotic hum of the city. America nudged Strange. "This place makes New York look tiny." Strange didn't respond, his attention fixed on the distant temple. "We're being watched," he muttered. Moments later, a group of clone troopers approached, blasters at the ready. "Halt!" barked their commander. "State your business." Strange raised his hands slowly, his tone calm but firm. "We're not here to cause trouble. My name is Dr. Strange, and this is America Chavez. We need to speak to whoever's in charge." The clones exchanged suspicious glances before lowering their weapons slightly. "Follow us," the commander said, "but don't try anything." Strange and America were escorted into the Jedi temple, a vast and serene structure filled with robed figures who moved with quiet purpose. They were brought before the Jedi Council, where masters such as Yoda, Mace Windu, and Obi-Wan Kenobi regarded them with cautious curiosity. Mace Windu broke the silence first. "You've come a long way to find us, stranger. Explain yourself." Strange stepped forward, addressing the room. "My name is Dr. Stephen Strange, master of the mystic arts. I come from a universe vastly different from yours, but our realities are more connected than you might think." The Jedi murmured among themselves, but Yoda raised a hand signaling for silence. "Connected how?" he asked, his wise eyes fixed on Strange. Strange took a deep breath. "There is a woman, Wanda Maximoff. She possesses immense power, the ability to warp reality itself. But she's been corrupted by an artifact called the Darkhold, a book of dark magic. She's tearing through the multiverse, destroying realities in her search for her children. Children who no longer exist." The room fell silent, the weight of Strange's words sinking in. Anakin Skywalker, standing near Obi-Wan, leaned forward, his expression intense. "You're saying she can destroy entire worlds? Galaxies?" Strange nodded grimly. "She's already destroyed several universes. If she finds her way here, your galaxy will be no different." The Jedi Council began deliberating, their voices low but tense. Mace Windu's skepticism was clear. "How do we know this isn't a trick? This man could be working for the Sith." Obi-Wan interjected. "If what he says is true, we can't afford to ignore it. The Jedi have always stood against threats to life. This is no different." Yoda closed his eyes, his expression contemplative. "A grave danger this Darkhold is. Aid we must provide, but cautious we must be." Anakin stepped forward, his tone eager. "If she's that powerful, you'll need my help." Mace Windu shot him a sharp look. "You have other duties, Skywalker. You're to continue your assignment monitoring the Chancellor." Anakin's jaw clenched, but he didn't argue. Instead, he turned to Strange. "I'll help you, Dr. Strange. The Council doesn't need to know." Before Strange could respond, Mace Windu raised his hand. "Enough, Skywalker. We'll decide how to handle this." Meanwhile, in the shadowy halls of the Senate building, Emperor Palpatine sat alone, his hooded face obscured. Through the Force, he listened to the conversation unfolding in the Jedi Temple. A sinister smile spread across his lips. "So, the multiverse has brought me a gift," he mused. "A sorcerer and a witch." He reached out through the Force, his presence brushing against the edges of Wanda Maximoff's fractured mind. Though she was far away, the Darkhold's corruption allowed her to sense him. "Wanda Maximoff," he whispered, his voice smooth and menacing. "Your power is extraordinary. I can help you find what you seek." Wanda, lost in the Darkhold's influence, felt his words as a seductive pull. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "A friend," Palpatine replied, "and soon an ally." Back at the temple, Strange and America prepared to begin their search for Wanda. Strange turned to Anakin, sensing the young Jedi's inner conflict. "You're troubled." Anakin hesitated before replying. "I've lost people before. If this Wanda has the power to bring them back, I just want to help." Strange studied him carefully, then placed a hand on his shoulder. "Grief is a powerful motivator, but it can also be dangerous. Be careful." As the group prepared to move, shifted to Palpatine, his grin widening as he whispered to himself, "The pieces are falling into place. Soon, the Darkhold will be mine, and the Jedi will be no more." The Jedi Temple hummed with activity as Dr. Strange, America Chavez, and the Jedi Council began strategizing how to find and stop Wanda Maximoff. The Force-sensitive members of the Order meditated to attune themselves to the chaotic ripples caused by the Darkhold, while Strange pored over their ancient archives, searching for any clues about how Wanda might be defeated. "This temple holds remarkable knowledge," Strange commented to Obi-Wan Kenobi, who stood nearby, observing the sorcerer. "But none of it speaks to power like hers." Obi-Wan crossed his arms, thoughtful. "The Force binds the galaxy together. It doesn't bend to individual will as freely as magic, but it is powerful in its own way." Strange nodded. "Let's hope it's powerful enough." In another chamber, Anakin Skywalker sat alone, his hands clenched into fists. His thoughts were consumed by the visions of Padme's death, and the Council's decision to sideline him stung deeply. He replayed Mace Windu's words over and over. "Your duty is here, Skywalker. Let the Council handle this." "They don't trust me," he muttered under his breath. "After everything I've done, they still don't trust me." The sound of footsteps drew his attention. Turning, he saw Palpatine standing at the doorway, his expression one of concern. "My boy," the Chancellor said, his voice gentle. "You seem troubled." Anakin hesitated, but the temptation to unburden himself was too strong. "The Jedi don't see me as their equal. They keep me at arm's length even when I try to help." Palpatine approached, his tone soothing. "That is their way. They fear strength and independence, but you, Anakin, are destined for far greater things." Anakin's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" Palpatine's voice dropped to a conspiratorial whisper. Dr. Strange spoke of the Darkhold, a book of unimaginable power, power to defy death itself. I believe this book could hold the key to saving Padme. Anakin's breath caught. "What do you know about Padme?" Palpatine smiled faintly. "You love her deeply. I can feel it, and I can help you save her, if you trust me." Meanwhile, Strange meditated in one of the temple's quiet chambers. Passed before him, Crimson lightning fractured realities, and Wanda herself, her face twisted in anguish as she clutched the Darkhold. "She's here," Strange muttered, his eyes snapping open. He rushed to find the Council. In the Council chambers, Anakin stood before Mace Windu, Yoda, and several other Jedi. His expression was tense as he recounted his conversation with Palpatine. "The Chancellor admitted he's a Sith Lord," Anakin said, his voice steady but urgent. "He knows about the Darkhold, and he's trying to manipulate me." The Council members exchanged grim looks. Mace Windu's jaw tightened. "If what you say is true, then Palpatine has been orchestrating this war from the beginning." Anakin nodded. "He also knows about Wanda. He's plotting to use her power." Mace turned to Strange, who had just entered the room. "Dr. Strange, could the Chancellor have a connection to this Scarlet Witch?" Strange frowned. "It's possible. The Darkhold corrupts those who even look upon it. If Palpatine has been using the Force to reach Wanda, she may already be under his influence." Yoda's expression darkened. "Dangerous, this knowledge is. Confront him, we must." Mace gestured to Anakin. "You've done the right thing, Skywalker. Stay here while we deal with the Chancellor." Anakin bristled. "I should come with you. If he's as powerful as you think, you'll need me." "No," Mace said firmly. "Your judgment is clouded. Stay here and wait for our return." Mace Windu Strange and 3 Jedi Masters, Kit Fisto, Agen Kolar, and Saisi Teen, arrived at Palpatine's office. The room was dimly lit, the Chancellor seated calmly at his desk as they entered. "Master Windu," Palpatine said smoothly, rising to his feet. "What brings you to my chambers?" "Enough lies," Windu said, his voice sharp. "We know what you are." Palpatine's smile faded, replaced by a look of cold fury. "Then it seems this charade has reached its end." Without warning, Palpatine ignited his crimson lightsaber and attacked, his speed and precision catching the Jedi off guard. Strange conjured a protective shield, deflecting Palpatine's strikes as the others engaged in a furious duel. "You have no idea what power you face, sorcerer," Palpatine hissed, unleashing a wave of Force lightning. Strange countered with a spell, the energy crackling in the air between them. Back at the temple, Anakin paced restlessly. His mind raced with conflicting thoughts: loyalty to the Jedi, his fear for Padme, and Palpatine's promise of salvation. Suddenly, he stopped, his decision made. Rushing to Palpatine's office, he entered just as Mace Windu disarmed the Sith Lord, holding his lightsaber at Palpatine's throat. "He's too dangerous to be left alive," Mace growled. "Wait," Anakin shouted, stepping between them. "We need him. He's the only one who can save Padme." Mace turned to Anakin, his expression filled with anger and disbelief. "You're letting your fear control you, Skywalker. Stand down." But Anakin's desperation boiled over. With a swift motion, he ignited his lightsaber and cut off Mace's hand. Palpatine seized the opportunity, blasting Mace with Force lightning and sending him hurtling out the window. Strange rushed forward, conjuring a portal to save Mace from falling to his death, but Palpatine turned his attention to him, striking with a powerful blast of energy. Strange was thrown through the window by the force of the attack, barely managing to save himself and Windu. Anakin fell to his knees, trembling, as Palpatine placed a hand on his shoulder. "Rise, Lord Vader," the Sith Lord intoned, his voice cold and commanding. Palpatine wasted no time, issuing the command that would echo across the galaxy. "Execute Order 66. The clones turned on their Jedi generals, cutting them down without mercy. Back in the temple, Strange and Mace fought their way through waves of clones, defending the younglings and America Chavez, who used her portals to evacuate survivors. Obi-Wan, stationed on another planet, received the devastating news and began planning his next move. Palpatine commands Vader to march on the Jedi Temple, his fall to darkness now complete. Strange, Windu, and America look on as the temple burns, determined to stop the Sith before the galaxy is lost. The skies over Coruscant burned as the Jedi Temple was plunged into chaos. Darth Vader, clad in black robes, led a battalion of clone troopers into the heart of the temple. The clones, executing Order 66 with ruthless efficiency, opened fire on any Jedi they encountered. Lightsabers clashed with blaster fire, but the numbers were overwhelmingly against the Jedi. Inside the temple, Doctor Strange and Mace Windu fought valiantly alongside America Chavez and the remaining Jedi. Strange's mystic shields deflected blaster bolts, while Windu's purple lightsaber cut through the onslaught with precision. America used her portals to create escape routes for the surviving younglings, but the odds were growing grimmer by the second. "We can't hold this position forever," America shouted, her voice straining over the sound of battle. Strange cast a spell that immobilized a squad of clones, giving them a brief reprieve. "We're not holding, we're surviving. Get the younglings out of here, now!" Darth Vader stormed through the temple halls, his crimson lightsaber blazing as he cut down Jedi Masters, Padawans, and younglings alike. His movements were mechanical, precise, and merciless. The Darkhold's whispers echoed in his mind, fueling his rage and drowning out any remnants of Anakin Skywalker. "You were right," Vader muttered to himself as he struck down another Jedi. "The Jedi betrayed me. They betrayed us all." In the Grand Hall, Vader came face to face with a group of Jedi who had formed a defensive line. Among them was Shakti, her lightsaber ignited. "Anakin, stop this madness," she pleaded. "You're better than this." "There is no Anakin," Vader growled, raising his hand. The Darkhold's power surged, and with a crushing motion, he used the Force to collapse the pillars around her, trapping the remaining Jedi. Elsewhere in the temple, Strange and Windu regrouped with America and a small group of survivors. Windu, still weakened from his injuries, leaned on Strange for support. "The temple's lost," he said grimly. "We need to retreat." Strange shook his head. "If we retreat, Vader and Palpatine win. The Darkhold will corrupt everything in this galaxy, and beyond." Windu considered his words, his jaw tight. "Then we end it here. We stop Vader or we die trying." America opened a portal to an isolated section of the temple, away from the main fighting. "We need to get to Mustafar," she said. "If the Darkhold is there, we can destroy it." Strange nodded, glancing at Windu. "Go with America. Protect the younglings and regroup with Obi-Wan. I'll stay and buy you time." Windu placed a hand on Strange's shoulder. "No, we fight together." The final stand at the temple was nothing short of apocalyptic. Strange and Windu led the remaining Jedi against Vader's advancing forces, their combined powers holding the line as long as possible. Strange used his magic to create barriers and illusions, while Windu's skill with a lightsaber cut through wave after wave of clones. Vader arrived, his presence filling the hall with dread. He confronted Strange and Windu, his crimson blade clashing with Windu's purple in a duel that shook the temple walls. "You've fallen far, Skywalker," Windu said, his voice filled with regret. "I've risen," Vader countered, pushing Windu back with a surge of Force energy. The Jedi were weak, blind. They deserved to fall. Strange intervened. "You're being used," Strange said, his voice calm but firm. "The Darkhold isn't giving you power. It's taking everything you are." Vader roared in fury, breaking free from the spell. His attacks became more ferocious, his strikes pushing both Windu and Strange to their limits. Amid the chaos, America and a group of younglings tried to escape through her portals. However, the clones, relentless in their pursuit, managed to corner them. America stood her ground, using her powers to fight back, but she was overwhelmed. Strange, sensing her danger, cast a massive spell that created a protective dome around America and the younglings. "Get out of here," he shouted. "Find Obi-Wan, find Yoda!" Tears in her eyes, America nodded, opening a portal that transported her and the younglings to safety. The last thing she saw before the portal closed was Strange, standing defiantly against Vader. The duel between Strange, Windu, and Vader reached its climax in the temple's central chamber. Vader, wielding both his lightsaber and the Darkhold's corrupted power, unleashed a devastating attack that shattered the floor beneath them. Strange conjured a spell to keep them aloft, but the strain was immense. Windu, seizing an opening, struck at Vader's exposed side. The blade connected, causing Vader to stagger, but instead of falling, he used the Darkhold's magic to heal himself, his strength renewed. "You can't win," Vader said, his voice cold and final. "The Darkhold makes me unstoppable." Strange's gaze hardened. "You're not unstoppable. You're broken." In a desperate move, Strange cast a spell that created a portal beneath Vader, attempting to transport him to the void between dimensions. Vader resisted, his power clashing with Strange's magic in a final, cataclysmic burst of energy. As Vader lunges forward to strike, Windu and Doctor Strange use the momentum to not only block, but also maneuver themselves and Vader into the swirling portal. They all disappear from the Jedi Temple in an instant, the portal snapping shut behind them, leaving the battle scene eerily quiet. They emerge on the fiery landscape of Mustafar. The heat and flames a stark contrast to the cool shadows of the temple. The battle does not pause. Lightsabers and magical energies clash against the backdrop of flowing lava and smoky skies. The fierce duel continues, with each party struggling for the upper hand on the unstable terrain. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Doctor Strange pressed onward, the fiery landscape of Mustafar stretching before them. Each step brought them closer to their goal and their foe. On a high ridge, Darth Vader awaited, the Darkhold levitating ominously beside him, its dark energy pulsating like a second heart beat. As they approached, Vader ignited his crimson saber. The menacing hum sliced through the oppressive silence, sending an eerie echo across the volcanic expanse. "Leave this place," Vader commanded, his voice resonating with the cold, metallic edge of his armor, a haunting echo of the man he once was. "Or perish here with me." Obi-Wan stepped forward, his lightsaber igniting with a brilliant blue flash. The light cast deep shadows across his weathered face. "Anakin," he said, his voice steady but tinged with sorrow. "There is still a chance for redemption. Don't let the Darkhold consume what remains of you." For a moment, there was only silence, but then Vader extended his hand, and the Darkhold surged with power. A torrent of dark energy erupted, forcing the Jedi and the Sorcerer to scatter. Obi-Wan rolled to the side as molten rock exploded nearby, while Strange conjured a glowing shield of eldritch magic, deflecting the deadly blast. The battle's scale escalated almost immediately, as Strange began weaving protective spells to counter the Darkhold's influence. The unmistakable sound of a shuttle descending filled the air. Emperor Palpatine emerged from the craft, his sinister visage illuminated by the glow of Mustafar's infernos. "Well done, Lord Vader," Palpatine hissed, his smile devoid of warmth. "Now let us rid ourselves of these interferences." Beside him, another figure appeared from the shadows, Wanda Maximoff, her eyes glowing crimson, her form trembling with the chaos of the Darkhold's control. She stepped forward, her hands already crackling with unstable magic. Doctor Strange's jaw tightened. "Wanda," he said, his tone a mixture of urgency and regret. "You don't have to do this. Fight the Darkhold's hold on you. I know you're hurting. I know what it's like to feel powerless, to think you failed the ones you love, but this isn't the way. They wouldn't want this for you." Wanda, hesitating, her crimson glow faltering. "They'd want me to fight for them, to protect them. Not like this. Let me help you, Wanda. Let us help you. You're stronger than the Darkhold. You're stronger than this," Strange said back. Wanda falters briefly, the chaotic energy around her wavering, but the Darkhold's grip tightens, and her expression hardens again. "You can't help me. No one can." She unleashes another wave of magic, forcing Strange to retreat as she charges forward. Palpatine raised his hands, unleashing a storm of Force lightning at Obi-Wan and Windu, who had arrived as backup moments earlier through the portal. The bolts crackled through the air, forcing the Jedi to dive for cover. Vader, drawing strength from the Darkhold, charged forward, his saber swinging in a relentless flurry of strikes. Obi-Wan parried desperately, the heat of their duel as intense as the lava flows around them. "Anakin," he shouted between blows, "remember who you are. The Darkhold doesn't define you. It never did." Vader's response was a roar of fury, his attacks growing even more aggressive. Something flickered, faint but undeniable. Meanwhile, Strange squared off against Wanda, their powers colliding in a dazzling display of mysticism and chaos. He conjured sigils and portals to deflect her attacks, but her strength, amplified by the Darkhold, was formidable. "Wanda," Strange said, dodging a wave of crimson magic that turned a nearby outcrop into dust. "You're stronger than this. The Darkhold isn't your master." Her response was a cry of anguish, her voice trembling as she lashed out again. As the battle raged, Palpatine turned his focus to Windu. The Sith Lord's lightning strikes came faster and harder, overwhelming Windu's defenses. Seeing his ally in danger, Strange opened a portal, redirecting the lightning back toward Palpatine. The Emperor staggered briefly but recovered quickly, his eyes narrowing with fury. "You meddling sorcerer," Palpatine snarled, his voice dripping with venom. "You will regret that." Nearby, Obi-Wan's words finally began to pierce through Vader's haze of darkness. Flashes of his past, Padme's laughter, the faces of his Jedi comrades, and even his younger self training under Obi-Wan surfaced in his mind. His lightsaber faltered, the deadly rhythm of his attacks slowing. Obi-Wan seized the moment. With a swift maneuver, he disarmed Vader, sending the crimson blade spinning into the fiery abyss below. But their reprieve was short-lived. Palpatine, seeing Vader's hesitation, turned his wrath on his apprentice. Weakling, the Emperor spat, his hands crackling with dark energy. "You dare defy me?" The bolts of lightning struck Vader with brutal force, and he collapsed to one knee. In an act of desperation and redemption, Anakin summoned what remained of his strength. He rose, the Darkhold's power still pulsing through him, but tempered now by the faint light of his humanity. "You were wrong about me," Anakin said, as he knew what steps he needed to take next. And with that, Darth Vader was no more. Before Palpatine could respond, Anakin lunged, grabbing the Emperor and dragging him toward the edge of the cliff. With a final, defiant roar, Skywalker hurled them both into the fiery rivers below. The explosion of heat and light was blinding, and when it subsided, both Sith Lords were gone. Obi-Wan rushed to Vader's side, finding him grievously wounded but still alive. He cradled his former apprentice, the flames of Mustafar reflected in his tear-filled eyes. I wanted to save us all, Anakin rasped, his voice weak, but I lost myself. You found your way back, Obi-Wan whispered, his voice breaking. You're free, Anakin, free from the shadows. With a faint smile, Anakin Skywalker, no longer Darth Vader, took his final breath, his body fading into a Force ghost. As the Darkhold disintegrated into ash, its grip on Wanda was shattered. She collapsed to the ground, trembling but free. Strange hurried to her side, helping her to her feet. You did it, Strange said, his tone soft but firm. You broke free. Wanda nodded, tears streaming down her face. I almost lost everything. Sometimes, Strange said, looking out over the scarred battlefield, we have to lose ourselves to find the way forward. The surviving Jedi gathered amidst the cooling lava flows, their victory hard-won and bittersweet. Back on Coruscant, the remnants of the Jedi began the painstaking process of rebuilding, inspired by Anakin's final act of redemption. In his Sanctum Sanctorum, Strange reflected on the battles across realities, his resolve strengthened for the challenges yet to come. Wanda, scarred but determined, resumed her journey to heal the multiverse's wounds. And Obi-Wan, standing alone on the scorched plains of Mustafar, looked toward the horizon, his heart heavy but his spirit unbroken. You found peace, Anakin, he whispered, and so will we. Thank you, old friend. You were right, Obi-Wan. I found my way back. From the mist, another figure materializes. Qui-Gon Jinn, his presence calm and assured, a faint smile gracing his lips. He steps beside Anakin, placing a steadying hand on his shoulder. You've done well, Anakin. Your journey was never meant to be easy, but the hardest paths often lead to the brightest ends. I don't know if I deserve peace, Master Qui-Gon. Not after everything I've done. You've already earned it. The Force doesn't seek perfection, Anakin. It seeks balance, and you've helped restore that balance. Anakin looks back at Obi-Wan, who is unaware of their presence, but seems more at peace than he has in years. The faintest smile touches Anakin's lips. Will he ever forgive me? Skywalker said. He already has, as he smiled. Anakin nods slowly, the weight of his past lifting just slightly as he watches Obi-Wan walk away into the distance.